Hi everyone, today's video we're gonna make Endwalker Extreme Trials tier list. Uh, Endwalker is coming to a close, Densho is right around the corner, and yeah, I mean it's a good time for that. A lot of people have been doing that and I wanted to make one as well. Uh, One thing you might notice, immediately if you look at the images, I added Asura there. I know it's not an extreme, but I wanted to include it because I'm not going to make a normal tier list, like normal mode tier list, and I want her to be included somewhere, so see it as a bonus if anything. So yeah, compared to the Alan's raid, I'm going to do them in order instead of being shuffled. The reason is very simple, there's not a lot of fight to go through, so let's just do them in order. Yeah, let's get started. So first off, we have Zodiac. I think a lot of people didn't expect that fight to be the first fight in the game, which was a surprise, but as an extreme, I think it serves well as an introduction to high-end content at the same time. Like, personally, I had done the Iron Reborn and Bismarck back on release, and the rest I never did. Because I didn't really play. I played during Shellbreakers, but I was more on and off. I didn't touch any of the extremes. So, in a way, Zodiac is my first extreme. In a very long time, at least. And it's a very simple fight because there's no really any body checks in it. It's just the mechanics and you dodge the attacks and all that. There's no stacking, that you don't depend on the teammates. It's really just you, and you have to perform. And if you die, it's like it's not the end of the world unless everybody dies. Like that's when it finishes. But yeah, on that front, like it's a very simple fight, and it's kind of like normal but faster pace and more difficult patterns. And for the introduction to high end, I think it's pretty good. However, it is on the easier side because I keep saying it, but I see it as an introduction to high end content. Or at least extreme, but extreme is an introduction to high-end content, you know, so whatever. So I think it's good, but like it's definitely not the best out there. It's definitely a good fight to go through, and it's very farmable as well. Like it should be a clear every time. Once you know the fight, it should be a clear almost every attempt. It's very enjoyable to farm. If you're going for the mount. If you're just going for one clear, I don't care. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to put it in B tier. Now, as for Heidelin, this is a bump in difficulty, in my opinion, compared to Zodiac. This is the second extreme, and it's like, okay, you got introduced to high-end content. Now let's bump this up so that you know, so that you understand a bit more what high-end content is about. And now you have a bit more responsibility. There's you have to spread around so that you don't hit your partners. You have to stack with your partners too. Like you have to respect the tells that Heidelin gives. The ad phase, which is a pretty good ad phase, if I may ask. It's a lot of responsibilities for the tank and the DPS as well. They have to go fast. The healers have to keep up with the things that are taking a lot of damage. Even to this day, like they're doing a lot of damage. Well, if you're doing normal comp, like 2 tanks, 2 healers, and 4 DPS, I don't think they take that much damage, but right now, since we're near the end of the expansion, people are doing 1 healer, 1 tank, and 6 DPS so that the boss dies faster. But the tank is taking both ads, and he's taking quite a lot of damage. The healer still has to babysit them if you're going for that thing. But anyway, the mechanics are pretty good. Like they're very interesting. Like the first time I did it, like I thought it was a very fun fight. And when I went back to clear and get the footage, it still is. It's just we're skipping a lot now, but that's how the game goes. We off-scaled it pretty bad, but that's how extreme are. So I'm not going to judge on that. I'm judging on when I played the first time, which was pretty much on release. And yeah, it's just an insanely fun fight. I'm going to put it in S. It's just very fun. Now, one that's not as fun. Endsinger. I have a lot of gripe for it, but for this fight, but I think mechanically, like, it's not necessarily bad. There's a few body checks in there, especially with the towers, that you have to soak. But there's a lot of things you have to look out for. You have to look for the tails that the boss does, so that you go in the middle or out of the arena. You have to dodge the planets, depending on the colors. Like, you have to be careful. There's a lot going on in the fight. My biggest problem with that is that I compare it to other finale, right? Like Shinryu, 80s, Thornton, and there's nothing special about this fight. Like 80s, there's like multiple faces, and it's just like, holy shit, it's like an entirely different fight from normal. Shinryu, which you go across the tail to go under the on the top of Shinryu, and then you can fight him on a different platform. Like it's all something else that really elevates the fight. And Singer has none of that. In fact, I think normal mode is more fun to do than the extreme one, and the simple reason is that there's a transition in it, and it's a epic transition. Like you have to do the LB3 and then you go to the final phase, which is kind of a joke phase, but like it just shows the despair of the boss. In the extreme fight, there's none of that. It's just the fight itself. It's like you're in the second phase, but instead of the boss being like, oh my god, what's happening, she keeps fighting, and I feel like it's a mistake. It should have been maybe a short beginning, and then you go to the transition, and then you do this fight or something. Like it's just missing this little something. Also, do you remember in normal there's an ad? There's an ad phase. Yeah, that's completely missing in the extreme, and that's like, why? They could have made something pretty cool with the ad phase. Like I've thought about it recently, and I'm like, you know, they could have made like you have two parties, each on each side of the ad, and you have to rotate around because there's planets exploding, like a bit like Ruby Kante's attack, where the parties are rotating around the boss. But it's an ad, and it's the planet that explode on the platform, like, and really fast, and you just go around, and it finishes with either a light party stack or enumeration. Like I think it could have been really fun. I mean, of course, it's a bit similar to Ruby Kante, but Ensinger would have been the first one. I don't know. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's terrible, but no, I'm going to put it here. Actually, it's stated, but I just thought of a reason. I didn't like farming this one, and the reason I didn't like it is because there's this attack where there's 4 planets going back to back to back to back, and people keep fucking up. Like a lot of people will die there, and right after that there's a body check and it will cause a wipe. It was very annoying to me. Not as annoying as some other fights, but yeah, because I didn't enjoy it that much, it just made it more tedious. So I'm going to put it there. Now, I think they redeemed themselves afterwards with the next one, because Barbarisia is top notch. This fight is quick, this fight is fun, there's a lot of tail you have to look out for, there's a lot of personal responsibilities, there's a lot of mechanic, and I said it again, but it's fast-paced too. Now, one thing I cannot judge it on is the farming, and the reason for that is I got the mount on my 7th clear. I was so lucky. I was just looking for my weapon for Abyssals to get ready for Abyssals, and I could not drop it, and the mount drops, and I rolled, got 99, like, okay, well, I'm gonna use my totem for my weapon now, GG. So, first week, I finished my farming for it, and didn't suffer much through PF, but from what I heard, it was kind of painful. But, yeah, I had to relearn it, to relearn this fight for the video, because for the capture the footage. It's still a fun fight. It's still a very fun fight. Then I'm sad I finished the farming like so quick, because it's my favorite fight in this expansion. When we're talking about extremes, it's my favorite fight, and yeah, I had to finish it in like a week, so it's kind of sad. But yeah, like I said, this fight was just so fun. Now, as for the next one, right there, I don't care. This fight is so boring, and I think it's mainly because Ruby Kante is my favorite theme in Final Fantasy IV. and I had high expectations for this fight, especially after seeing Barbarisa. I was like, okay, it's gonna be an epic fight. Probably not as good because Barbarisa is so good, but it has to be good, right? No, it's just snooze fest. It's a complete snooze fest. But when I redid it, I had to relearn a bit. But even then, like it's very simple. The only thing is that I could not remember the tricks to make the platform rotation easy to remember where the safe spot was. But regardless, the mechanics are very simple and it's so slow. Like the boss doesn't attack and it lasts for forever. It's not a particularly good fight. At least the farm was good when I did it. It was a clear almost every time. So I cleared it. I finished the farming very quickly. The one thing I'll say is good is the music. It's amazing. The music in this fight is really amazing. But I think that's what makes the farm enjoyable. Yeah, I have nothing else to say about this fight. It's just not particularly fun. Afterwards, though, we have Gold Bears, and I love this fight. I love it. It's really good. The music is great. The mechanics are difficult, but not. I think people made it more difficult than it should have been. It's not that difficult of a fight. The only thing I think is really difficult is double meteors, which is not that bad once you understand it, and Gale 3, because Gale... Was Gale 2 also doing that? I don't remember. I think so. But anyway, Gale 2 and Gale 3, they have party stack and enumeration at the same time as you're dodging all of that. It can be hard to get your bearings around. Like it's kind of difficult to know exactly where you need to go, like which side you're dodging first, second, third, and fourth, and while doing the large party stack and enumeration. I totally think it's a difficult mechanic, especially for an extreme. But the strange thing is that that's not where the most of my wipes were, because when I was farming it, there was a lot of wipe, and it was not to that. It was to another mechanic called Stardust, and especially the second Stardust. A lot of people would die there. I don't understand why. For me, it's the same thing as the first, just a different starting position. But it's the same thing. And you will always have a couple of people die, and right after that, it's double meteors, which is a body check. You need everybody alive. You can do a sack strat to recuperate, but it's people. I never saw people do that. The thing is that this mechanic is so far in the fight, like I don't know, 6-7 minutes into the fight. Yeah, the only thing is that I'm glad the fight gets 2 totems, because I think if we include those wipes, I must have cleared like nearly 100 times. It's really crazy. And it's not a hard mechanic. I just don't understand why people would die to it all the time when they can do the first one with no problem. But anyway, I would have put it in S, but the farm made it a bit miserable and I don't want to see this fight again, kind of. So it's gonna stay there. Now as for the next one, Zeramus, I am unimpressed. For a finale, because it is another finale, right? The music is good, and the mechanics are not necessarily uninteresting. They're just not hard enough. Like, it's fairly slow paced. It's very simple. You can easily go through this fight blind, like not looking at a guide. You just go in and figure out the mechanics, and there's no problem with it. It's very, very easy to figure out. And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's easy to figure out, and it's also easy to execute. Aside from the meteor mechanic, which I think it's kind of bullshit at the same time. Like, it's extremely tight, and it just causes a wipe. But you can cheese it by, oh, you cannot make the place in time. Just kill yourself in game. just sack yourself and you save the run. There you go. But aside from that, like, I think it's an underwhelming fight. It was very farmable though. That's the one thing I can give. It was fine to farm because of how easy it was. You occasionally had the random wipes to the meteors, but aside from that, it was very farmable. So I'm going to put it in C. Oh, another thing. I think if it was the first extreme of the whole expansion, that would have been pretty good. I would have probably put it 1 tier higher, like I did like Zodiac. because there's a bit more personal responsibilities than Zodiac, but still being quite easy. Regardless, right now it's not the case. It's the final one, so yeah, it doesn't deserve that. As for Asura, like I said, it's not an extreme, so I'm not going to judge it as an extreme. But I will judge it against the Gilgamesh fights from previous expansion, because it's in the same quest line. And compared to that, I'm going to put it there. I was expecting more. I never saw the fight. I didn't go to FanFest to fight it. I didn't watch any video. I just wanted it to be a surprise to me. And it's underwhelming. The mechanics are super simple, and there's nothing really special about it. I figured out all the mechanics immediately. Like, I never got anything in my first clear. The only thing is, like, she tethers to a clone of herself that's big, and it does the same attack but bigger. Like, okay. That's the only thing that's really special about this fight. The rest is insanely simple. I'm not expecting it to be extremely difficult either. I mean, it is a normal mode fight. But like, compared to the Gilgamesh fight in Stormblood, this fight has a lot going for it. There's a lot of mechanics. There's, at first it's Yojimbo, then becomes Gilgamesh. There's a lot of mechanics. Tethers to people and you have to break the chains. There's a lot of AoEs going around. Like, it's a fun fight. You have to be careful about the others. In this one, you don't care about the others because there's absolutely nothing going on. The only thing that goes on that can't damage the others is the one tank buster at the beginning. And like I said, there's one tank buster. It never comes back. And I'm sure that if there was no tank, like DPS grabbed the tank buster for some reason, I'm sure they could survive. I would be surprised. It's missing something to make it more fun, like the Stormblood one. But it is normal mode, so I can't really say it's terrible. Like, I don't know. So yeah, that's the tier list for Extreme plus Asura. Overall, I think it was a decent expansion. It's all over the place, but like, if you remove Asura because that's a bonus one, it's average. Like, you have two extremely good ones, two pretty shitty, and then the rest is kind of in the middle. But overall, I was still satisfied. The fact that they made it 2 totems per clear made it a lot more enjoyable. But yeah, that is it for this video, and I don't know what the next video will be about 14. But yeah, that's it, and see you next time.